It's going to be a question of either you get Spain, Portugal, Greece, Ireland, whoever you can get. You've got to get a group of countries that attempts to take over the European Central Bank, that fights back against this stuff. You can do that more effectively from inside the euro, but then, as you say, ultimately, if Schäuble is determined to destroy the euro, well, then Schäuble will have destroyed the euro, and we'll have to take it from there. So it's unfortunate, because remember, anybody who leaves will come under instant heavy-duty speculative attack, and their living standard will be ravaged unless they can put in
capital controls or these kind of measures, I suppose you mean. And the thing is that the Greek economy is in such low levels that even a very devalued currency could have a growth effect. But we certainly need to examine the case of a hijacking of the euro, I think. And how could something like this be done here?
having all kinds of trouble with our sound. But yes, we got to study this. In other words, we need to develop options now. We need to develop alternative scenarios. The best is if these Portuguese socialists do something. The best is if we can get a better leadership on the Podemos side in Spain, and indeed if some revival could take place in some of the larger countries. But that's going to take a while. In the meantime, we've obviously got this chicken situation, right? If Schäuble really wants to, he can blow up the euro at the end of the month.
Yes, but
Let's see.
I don't think that he's likely to want to blow up the weapon that he's using for social for imposing these kind of policies. I mean,
but then he's going to have to make some concessions. Let's see what they are.
Yes, but on the other hand, these concessions, if Schäuble makes concessions, other countries may go the way of Greece.
And let's in the sense of resisting austerity, let's hope they do. Okay, welcome back to World Crisis Radio. It's our final segment here on the 5th of June, 2015. We're shocked to find that the former Speaker of the House, Dennis Hastert, has now been implicated in what? Pedophilia. He was the U.S. ruling class is decadent and degenerate. This is now a case in point. Hastert the bastard. And if he goes down, as it looks like he will that roll back that monstrosity that he imposed on the Postal Service? His Parthian shot in office was to force the Postal Service to pay, 3 years of social expenditures, pensions, and all that every year, hoping to mass some money that his rich friends could then cannibalize. Okay, let's look back now at this left forum. We had a wonderful intervention by the Tax Wall Street Party. We had approximately 6 forums, panels that we influenced or dominated or ordered up. There was, however, competition. The British IOS, I think it is, Independent Socialists, is that who they are? They had 25. So there was a power grab behind the scenes by this dubious Trotskyist organization out there trying to take over this thing. It's noticeable that a lot of the great poobahs were not there. Amy Goodman was not there. Michael Moore was not there. Noam Chomsky was not there. I think the most they got was Scahill. Did they get him? Amy Goodman, perhaps in decline. Maybe all of Amy's mouthing of the State Department line, her support for humanitarian bombers in people like Samantha Power, maybe that is catching up with her. I just want to make this contrast. When I went to the Left Forum for the first time in recent years, in 2013, what I saw in 2013 was an obscene spectacle of all the assembled leftists fawning on Edward Snowden, drooling for Edward Snowden. They were swooning for Edward Snowden. And of course, this is a playback, limited hangout operative. This time it's different. This time in the final forum, the final block of panels, we had a panel on ISIS. It was organized by Vox, figure in the New York left. Ray McGovern, former CIA. Wayne Madsen, former NSA. Yours truly, former nothing. No CIA, no NSA, nothing of the kind. So you figure that out. And what came out of this was a situation where the model of the color revolution and the model of the limited hangout operative, the so-called whistleblower, was under heavy attack. Gone are the days of the fawning and the drooling and the swooning. Now we're getting a critical view of these people. And the way it went was Ray McGovern, unfortunately, chose to defend the live CIA operations, the Arab Spring, the color revolutions, and the Assange and Snowden models. However, interestingly enough, Wayne Madsen, although certainly recognizing that something new was in there, I would say nothing new except a few code names and a couple of code words. Now, those can be very valuable if you're doing research, so that's perhaps understandable. But Wayne Madsen issued this stuff about Omidyar, and his summary was the material from the National Security Agency was filched and purloined by Snowden, who then apparently gave it to Glenn Greenwald, says Madsen. Greenwald then sold it to Omidyar, and Omidyar, he said, is selling it back to the NSA. Now, I don't know if that's true, but that's what Wayne Madsen had to say. You can check the films. Once that word Omidyar was out there, boy, the entire limited hangout position was in big trouble because people really resent that Omidyar is deciding what you can see and what you can't see, and that Greenwald is hoarding information so that 99% of this stuff is still secret because they've hoarded it. Those are no benefactors. Those are not public citizens. They don't care about transparency. They're nothing like that. So we also want to thank some of our new members of the Tax Wall Street Party, in particular from Texas and elsewhere, who were attacking and really this was highly effective, attacking the myth of the color revolution and I also went through the Bouazizi story. Maybe I'll tell that next time if there's interest. Now remember, I put out 2 years ago, how do you tell a limited hangout operation? First of all, the protagonist goes through a Damascus Road conversion, right? Ellsberg was a nuclear megadeath planner. Then he becomes a peace angel. Similarly with Snowden, he actually said Assange should be executed, but then he becomes a leaker on his own. An instant media darling is number 2, an instant media darling. And that's not what the ruling class does, the things that they don't like. Figure that out, okay, mushheads? Then the real whistleblower is ignored. In other words, it's always the anointed whistleblower who gets the inside track to the media darling status. But other people with more valid and more explosive stuff are similarly, they're ignored. There's nothing new in there. Again, I would say with Snowden, we probably got about half a dozen code words out of that. Otherwise, it's everything we knew. Ellsberg, Pentagon Papers, anybody reading Le Monde knew that stuff. I did, Italian press, whatever it was. And nothing big, nothing about the Kennedy assassination, 9/11, the Arab Spring, Iran-Contra, nothing about the big intelligence issues. Then it prepares new covert operations. Ellsberg prepares Watergate, the Assange, the immediate detonator for many of these Arab Spring, color revolutions, destabilizations. And I think now in retrospect we can say that Snowden turned into a major irritant in U.S.-Russian affairs at exactly the time the neocons wanted that. And remember, it all goes back to Paolo Sarpi. Take a look. We put it out this week again, in the morning briefing of the Tax Wall Street Party and the UFAA. The morning briefing has the how to tell a limited hangout operation. It is the art of saying something good about somebody while pretending to say something bad, right? Snowden pretends to be an implacable critic. Assange pretends to be an implacable critic. But in reality, what they've done is improve the public relations. So we've now got the lapse of the bulk collection. If you believe that, you are too gullible. I don't know what I can do for you. This is all a dog and pony show. You're telling me you really believe that the NSA has suddenly stopped doing bulk collection? That is beyond naive. That is so silly that I can't imagine an adult saying this stuff. Even the official commentators say there are 6 or 7 other ways that you can do all this under the existing law. The idea that little Rand Paul, that guy who wants to add $190 billion, 16% to the Pentagon budget, that little Rand has now delivered you from the clutches of the NSA. That is a fairy tale for gullible little children. And no adult should or could subscribe to that. So the Left Forum has come a long way, baby, from 2013, fawning, scraping, drooling, to 2015, when there's at least a significant body of critical view of these people. And Ray McGovern actually said that this was the first time he had ever heard anybody calling into question the bona fides of Assange and Snowden. Well, I'm sorry. Also, take a look. There's that famous Twitter where Glenn Greenwald says that I, Tarpley, am the source of the entire limited hangout critique. Check that up. Tarpley, Greenwald, Twitter. You'll see it. It's there.